7 people decide your financial future. Their next decision could add hundreds to your mortgage payment or wipe 20% from your 401k overnight. But the real battle isn't just about interest rates. It's a quiet war for control of the Federal Reserve itself, and one side is about to lose. By the end of this, you'll understand who's really in charge and how to position your money for what comes next. It all starts with one overlooked appointment. When you see Jerome Powell on TV, you see the face of the Federal Reserve, the calm, steady hand guiding the U.S. economy. The official story is simple. A nonpartisan group of economists looks at the data, inflation, unemployment, and makes the logical choice. They raise rates to cool an overheating economy. They cut rates to stimulate a slowing one. It's presented as a science, a technical process, free from the messiness of politics. But this polished image hides a much more volatile reality. The Federal Reserve isn't a monolith. It's a committee of human beings with deeply held, often conflicting beliefs about how the economy should work. And those beliefs are about to be put to the test. Because what they never tell you is that the right decision is always up for debate. And the people who win that debate can change your financial life forever. The real question isn't what will the Fed do next, it's who will the Fed become next? Inside the Fed, there are 2 warring tribes, the hawks and the doves. This isn't just a metaphor, it's the fundamental fault line that dictates policy. A hawk is obsessed with killing inflation. They believe a little economic pain now, higher unemployment, a mild recession, is a small price to pay to protect the long-term value of the dollar. They will vote to raise rates high and keep them there. The ultimate hawk was Fed Chair Paul Volcker in the early 80s. He jacked up interest rates to 20%, knowingly causing a brutal recession to break the back of runaway inflation. He saved the dollar, but crushed millions of workers and businesses in the process. On the other side are the doves. Their main priority is jobs, maximum employment. They believe a little inflation is perfectly fine if it means more people have jobs and wages are growing. They will always look for a reason to cut rates, or at least not raise them. The classic dove was Arthur Burns in the 1970s, who caved to pressure from President Nixon to keep money cheap before an election, leading to the great inflation that Volcker had to clean up. For years, the Fed has been run by a consensus, a mix of both. But here's the secret. The President of the United States appoints the 7 members of the Board of Governors, including the chair. They serve 14-year terms, but the chair is reappointed every 4 years. These are political appointments. With several seats on the board opening up over the next 1-2 years, the next president could fundamentally reshape the Fed's DNA. They could stack the board with ideological hawks, locking in high rates for years. Or they could fill it with doves, unleashing a new era of cheap money. This is the regime change no one is talking about. It's not a conspiracy, it's just how the system is designed. And the battle to fill these seats is the real game. So what does this coming power struggle mean for your money? It means you have to prepare for 2 very different futures. Let's call them Scenario A, the hawks take over. If the next appointments create a hawk majority Fed, expect higher for longer to be the mantra for years. For you, this means mortgage rates could stay elevated in the 6 to 8% range, making homeownership difficult. Variable rate debt like credit cards becomes much more expensive. The government will have to pay more interest on its debt, potentially leading to cuts in services. For investors, it's a tough environment for growth stocks and speculative tech.
But it's good for savers, who will finally earn a real return on their cash. The US dollar would likely remain strong. Now, scenario B, the doves are unleashed. If a new administration stacks the Fed with doves, their first instinct will be to cut rates to boost the economy, especially if unemployment ticks up even slightly. For you, this means mortgage rates could fall back towards 3 to 4%, refinancing becomes attractive, and loans get cheaper. It could ignite another bull run in the stock market, especially for companies that rely on borrowing to grow. The catch? Inflation could come roaring back. The price of gas, groceries, and rent could start climbing again, eroding the value of your savings and your paycheck. Your 401k might look great on paper, but your daily cost of living gets worse. The key isn't to guess the winner. It's to recognize the signals. Watch the Fed appointments after the next election. Are they known hawks or doves? Their personal history and past statements are public record. Understanding their ideology is more important than listening to their press conferences. This shift will tell you whether to position your finances for a world of tight, expensive money or a world of cheap money and rising prices.
Is the Fed's independence a complete myth? And should a handful of unelected officials have this much power over your life? Let me know in the comments. We've seen how the Federal Reserve isn't one mind, but a battleground of ideas between hawks and doves. And we've seen how political appointments can trigger a regime change that will directly impact your mortgage, your investments, and your savings. If you want to keep decoding how the system really works, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. In our next investigation, we expose the 3 private companies that secretly control the world's food supply. You'll be shocked who they are. Now you see how the money really moves. Money, Decoded.